Chapters 23 through 30 of the Book of Isaiah, from the Holy Bible in Modern English, translated by Ferrar Fenton. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Mark Penfold. Chapter 23. You ships of Tarshish wail, for home and port lie waste. You learn from Kittim's land. Men of the coasts be dumb, and Zidon rich by seaborne trade. The rivers' harvests grew, spring sown by many streams. For you, the nation's merchant, for grain from many streams, the early fruit of brooks, she was the nation's mart. Faint, Zidon, for the sea, the mighty sea declares, I writhed not nor bore child, and lads have not brought up, or educated girls. Yet as the Mitzrayim listen, they grieve to hear of Zur. Tarshish is overwhelmed, men of the islands howl. Is this your pleasant home from very ancient days? Must you now quit your home to go and dwell far off? Who purposed this on Zur, the lady of the crown? Her merchants were all princes, her traders lords of earth. The Lord of hosts designed to dash all haughty pride, depress all great on earth. Flow on your land like a brook that has lost its embankment, you poor daughter of Tarshish. For he points his hand to the sea, and her empire shakes. The Lord orders to break down her mercantile towers, says, Triumph no more, drunken daughter of Tarshish. Rise, pass over to Kittim, and there find no rest. Howl, you ships of Tarshish, your harbor is desert, and Zur is forgotten for 70 years, like the days of a king. But the 70 years ended. Zur shall be, as it says in the song of the harlot, Take a harp, walk the town, now you harlot forgotten, sing sweet roundels to call your remembrance to mind. At the 70 years' end that the Lord laid on Zur, she will love the whore's wages and seek prostitution with all the earth's kingdoms on face of the land. But her trade and the wealth will belong to the Lord, nor treasured or stored, and be for the Lord's people, wealth for food to content, and for beautiful robes. Chapter 24. See, the land the Lord dispeoples, pours it out with face reversed, and its population chases. Alike with priest and with the layman, with the master and his slave, with the waitress and her mistress, with the buyer and the seller, with the lender and the borrower, mortgager and mortgagee. The land shall be quite emptied and contemptuously despised, for the Lord decrees this sentence. The land falls down exhausted, its fainting people swoon. The country's nobles faint, the land her people loathes, who break the laws and change decrees despite the eternal treaty. So a curse eats up the land, and the dwellers in it waste. Its people burn the land, and but few of men remain. Grapes mourn, the vinestalk faints, the merry-hearted groan, the sound of drums is still, the shout of pleasure fails. The sounding harp is silent, they drink not wine with song, wine saddens those who drink. The broken town is still, each empty house is shut, the streets cry out for wine. All pleasure is athirst, mirth ceases from the land, the town is left a waste, destruction broke its gate. Amid the land it stands, a stripped olive in the tribes, which they glean at harvest's end. Now they raise a sound of cheering, from sea they praise the glorious Lord. The Lord with splendor they are honoring in the islands of the sea. Jehovah's name, the God of Israel, from the wings of earth they sound, swelling psalms to him the truthful. Then I cried, Alas, my leanness! Woe to me, for plunderers plunder, and the robbers plundering rob! Confusion and the trap and snare are on the people of our land. And they who fly from terror's voice fall in the trap, and those who creep from out the trap the lassos catch. For windows from on high are opened, and the earth's foundations shake, and the land with crashing crashes, and the land with breaches breaks. Tottering land meets ground that totters, staggering earth like drunkard staggers, and flapping quivers like a tent, and her crimes are heavy on her. She will fall, nor rise again. At that time the Lord will visit from his seat the proud on high, and on earth the kings upon earth, and collect the crowd of captives to the cells and shut up safe, but after many days will punish. Then the moon shall veil her features, and the sun shall be obscured, when the Lord of hosts is king in Jerusalem on Mount Zion, attended by his chiefs in glory. Chapter 25. My God Everliving, I highly exalt you, praise your name for designing your wonderful plans, with steadfastness settled through far-reaching ages, to throw down a city and ruin its fortress, the palace of strangers cast out of the city, for never again to be built. So the great people praise, the fierce nations will fear you, for you strengthened the weak, to the poor were a refuge from tyrants, a shelter from ruin. When fierce blasts struck their wall, and by heat in the desert threw down roaring despots, the tyrants oppressed by the heat without cloud. Then the great Lord will make for all tribes on this hill a feast rich with marrow and well-prepared dainties, and grape juice well thickened by age, and remove on this hill the veil veiling the tribesmen, and the covering that covers it from all the heathen. And the Lord Everliving destroy death forever, and wipe tears from each face, and turn from the earth the reproach of his people. So the living life says. In that day they shall sing, We will trust in our God. In that life we will trust, for he only can save. In his victory exult and be glad. For the Lord's power rests on this hill, and beneath it will tread Moab down as wet straw is trod into dung, and strike out his hands from his breast, as stretches the swimmer to swim, and pull down his pride by the clutch of his hands, and lay low the high walls of his fort, his pride throwing down to the dust of the earth. Chapter 26. In that day shall this song be sung in Judah's land. In our strong town salvation sits as walls and force. Unclose the gates, and let march in the nation guarding truth. Prepare it rest, prepare it peace, for peace it trusts in you. Trust in the Lord forevermore, whose living life forever guards. He threw the lofty from on high, the haughty city down. He threw her down upon the earth, he struck her to the dust. And now the foot shall trod her down, the poor men's feet depress. Straight is the path for righteous men, you smooth the good man's road. Such, Lord, the path of your decrees, we trust upon your name. My soul reflects upon your acts, my soul is rapt at night. My spirit seeks you at the dawn, to find your teachings clear, to teach the peoples of the world, to purify the earth. The wicked pitied learn not good, they stray upon the open ground, nor see the ever-living's sign. They see not, Lord, your lifted hand, but spiteful men shall see and fall, when fire consumes your foes. O ever-living, grant us peace, for you accomplished all our works, our ever-living God. Lords not from you ruled us, but your name only lasts. Mortals, they could not live. Tyrants who could not rise, when you came to defeat and their memory drive away. Lord, you increased the nation spreads your fame, and to earth's borders bears. Lord, in distress we sought for you, pouring entreaties for your help, as when the pregnant comes near birth, she rolls and shrieks in pain. So were we, Lord, with you, as though with child we rolled, but brought forth only wind. Our hands no victory won, the world's men did not fall. Your dead shall live, your corpses rise. Awake and cheer who sleep in dust. The morning's dew shall drop on you, but earth o'erwhelm the oppressors. So go, my people, to your homes, and close your doors behind. Hide till the storm has passed away. For see, the Lord comes from on high, to bring the man's crime on himself, and turn upon his land his blood, and no more hide his slain. Chapter 27. In the day the Lord comes with his great and sharp sword, and conquers the rolling and wriggling snake. The twisting snake slays with the snakes of the sea, then sing to the flowering vineyard a song. I, the Lord, always guard her. When I visit, I water. I watch her by day and by night. I have no wall round me. Who will make me a hedge? In war I shall be ruined. Would any then guard me, or strengthen, protect me? Make me peace or rest? The shoots from Jacob's root will grow, and Israel bloom and bear, and fill the earth with fruit. Has he struck him as struck his strikers, or slain him as his slayers slew him? You sent him chastisement in measure. You pleaded, sighing to his mind, when bringing on the fierce east wind. By this will Jacob's sin be cured, its evil fruit be set aside, his stone altars burnt and turned to lime, nor groves and idols raised again. So the great city is empty, a homestead forsaken, and bare like a pasture where cattle can browse, and lie there consuming its shoots. To her dry, broken boughs women came seeking fuel, for her people would never reflect. So their Maker spares not, nor their Former has pity. But when the time of the Lord's thrashing comes, he will reap from the river to Mitzer's blue stream, and glean up Israel's sons one by one from among them. And when on that day the great trumpet is sounded, the wanderers shall come from the country of Ashur, and those who had fled to the Mitzrayim's country will in Jerusalem bow on the Lord's holy hill. Chapter 28. Woe to the proud crown of drunken Ephraim, and the beautiful bloom of its withering flowers, on the head of the rich valley sleeping in wine! See that bold and strong master, like fierce cutting hailstorm, like whirling seas, flings by his hand to the ground. With his feet he will trample that crown of the pride of drunken Ephraim. And the fading flower crown on the rich valley's head, like the early ripe figs that a gazer beholds, shall fall ere they come to his hand. Then the Lord of hosts will be a glorious turban, and beautiful crown to his people remaining, a spirit of justice to those who trust justice, and ruler to those who drive war from the gate, though they staggered through wine, and through liquor they reeled. Priest and prophet have staggered, by drunkenness swallowed, yes, reeled in their wine, yes, in drunkenness staggered, with their eyesight distorted from right. Therefore their tables are filled with their vomit, that no place is clean. To whom is he preaching? To whom giving lessons? To children just weaned from the milk of the breast? For it is order on order, with line upon line, a crumb here, a crumb there? Yes, for with laughing lips and with slow-moving tongue to this people he speaks, who said to them, This is the palace of rest. Give rest to the weary, for here is refreshment. But they would not come to hear. So the word of life to them is, order on order, and line upon line, a crumb here, a crumb there. So they go and fall backward, are lamed, trapped, and taken. Therefore hear, scornful jesters, the word of the Lord, you who rule in Jerusalem over this race, who say, We recorded a treaty with death, with the pit made provisions for outbursting flood. If it sweeps out, it comes not to us, but dries up. We are safe, and in cunning can hide. Therefore thus says the Master of life, Look on me, I will choose a stone up in Zion, a chosen stone, perfectly set, immovably fixed in the truth, fixed truly by line and exactly by plummet. But hail shall throw down all the refuge of lies, and floods wash your den, and abolish your treaty with death. And your league with the pit will not stand in the rush, when it passes and you are trod down. It will seize as it passes on you, as the dusk and dusk passes to morn or to night, and will come on with terror to sight and to hearing. For the floor is too short for the bed, and the wrapper too narrow to fold, when, as at Mount Phratzim, the Lord will arise, as at Gibeon's valley, to work his intent, to effect his fierce work, and his purpose complete, and to work for his servants, the servants he owns. So give up your sneering, lest harder your sentence. For clear and decided I hear the Almighty, the Lord of hosts, sentence the earth. Give ear to my voice, hear my words with attention. The plowman plows daily and harrows his land for the grain. When level its surface, sows he not the pepper, and scatters the cummin, and drills in the wheat, and sows also the barley and oats in their place? For God has instructed and taught him reflection. Then not with an engine the pepper he thrashes, or over the cummin he turns the ox wheel, but beats pepper with staves, and the cummin with flails, grinds for meal, for the thrasher beats not to perfection, and the bullock turned rollers and hoofs crush it not. This also comes from the Lord of all powers, in purpose the wondrous, the great in effect. Chapter 29. Woe to Ariel, Ariel, David's sweet home! Add year upon year as the feastings go round. But to Ariel I will cause grief and bring sorrow, for on Ariel sorrow shall come. I will assail you like David, be cruel against you, and pile up a mound to invade. From the earth you shall speak, from the dust whisper words, like an earth ghost your voice, from the dust mutter speeches, but a distant weak hum, as flit terrors by moaning or suddenly come. But the Lord of might comes with a roar and a crash, and the sound of a great rushing whirlwind and storm, and a flame of devouring fire. And like a night dream be the hum of the heathen who war upon Ariel, her soldiers and towers, and cause her distress. As when one dreams of hunger, and it seems to have eaten, but on waking his mind finds it vain. Or when dreaming of thirst he appears to have drunk, but on waking is faint, and his mind has desire. So shall it be to the crowd of all nations who war on Mount Zion. They shall wait and be puzzled, and baffled, and blinded, not with wine shall be drunk, and shall reel without liquor. For the Lord will pour on them a spirit of stupor, close their prophets' eyes, and will blindfold their gazers. Their visions shall be like words sealed in a book, passed to one who reads not, asking, Read this book, pray. And he answers, I cannot, because it is closed. Or gives to another who knows not a letter, and says, Read this, I pray. But he also answers, I know not a letter. Now the Almighty demands, Why do this people approach with their mouth and their lips to pay honor to me, while their heart is far off? Their reverence is worthless to me. It teaches the doctrines of men. So on this race I lay wonders, add wonders to wonders, destroying its scientists' science, and baffling its scholars' researches. Are they more skilled than the Lord to hide object, and act when unseen, when they say, Who can see us, and whoever can know it? Fools! Is the formed thought its framer? Can the work tell the workman, You never made me? Or the maid tell its maker, You do not know how? How long before Lebanon's wasted like Carmel, and Carmel become like a city besieged? Then the deaf in that day shall hear words that are read, and the lost and blind eyes shall awake to their sight. And the wretched again in the Lord shall delight, and in Israel's holy the poor will be glad. For fear ends, insult fails, and all rascals are broken, that deceive men by words and by tricks in the courts, and that plot and conspire to pervert from the right. Therefore thus says the living, the house God of Jacob, who was Abraham's Redeemer, You shall not fail, Jacob, they shall not o'erwhelm you. When his sons see my handwork for him, they will honor my name, and worship the Holy of Jacob, and fear Israel's God. Then the mad will learn reason, the insane will have sense. Chapter 30. Woe, you sons of revolt, says the Lord, who make plans, not from me, and cast idols, but not by my will, and heap sin upon sin, who travel to go down to Mizar, but ask not my thought, who seek strength from strong Pharaoh, and crouch in the shadow of Mizar. Pharaoh's strength shall but bring you defeat, and the Mizraim's shadow to shame, when their chiefs came to Zoan, and his messengers met you at Hanes, all scorned at a people so worthless to them, who could not help or strengthen, but weaken and shame. Load the beasts for the south, for a land hard and rough, whence came leopard and lion, the asp and winged snake. Yes, load on the shoulders of asses your baggage, for a race of no use, on humped camels your treasures. Mizar helps with weak smoke, so I call her the home of proud sloth. Go, carve on a tablet and paint on a slab, for the time of the future to last for all ages, that this race are sons of revolt, lying children, disinclined to obey the Lord's laws, who tell seers, See not, warners, Come, warn not aright, speak flatteringly to us, and warn us by flattering, and turn the road for us, and widen our path. Take away from our faces the Holy of Israel. So thus says Israel's Holy, Since you scorn this statement, and trust falsehood and cunning, and rest upon them, This your fault shall become like a crack in a high rampart bursting to fall, which suddenly opening will fall into shatters and splinters, like bad pottery broken, when broken unpitied, not picked up. No fragment remains for hot ashes, or to dip in a pan for a drink. Yet thus said the Lord of life, Israel's holy: in return and submission your safety will be, and in quiet and trust be your strength. But you are not willing, and answered, Not so. We will gallop on horses, and ride upon coursers. You therefore shall fly, your pursuers shall chase, and 5,000 when threatened by one shall fly off, till you are alone like a pole on a hilltop, a flag on a mountain. But still the Lord waits to befriend you, delays out of pity, for the loving God judges, he guides all who trust him. If the race within Zion will weep in Jerusalem, will he not show merciful pity to you? When hearing the voice of your cry, he will answer. The Almighty has given you bread of affliction and water of grieving, and no more his canopy guards. But again you shall see it extended above, and your ears hear a word from behind you directing, This is the road that is right, that is the wrong one. Then when you are sick of your silver-clothed idols, and their vestments embossed with your gold, you will fling them out, loathing, exclaiming, Be gone! Then he will give rain on your land sown with grain, and the ground produce bread, and grow herbage and oil, and your cattle shall graze in that time on fat plains, and the bullocks and colts tilling land shall eat corn that is winnowed by blower and fan. And on every knoll and on each rising hill, in the day of fierce fight, when the fortresses fall, will spring fountains and babbling streams, with the light of the moon like the light of noon sun, and the sunlight be sevened like 7 days' light, in the days when the Lord heals the bruise of his race, and cures its festering wound. Look! The power of the Lord comes from far, hot wrath and rage loading his lips, and his tongue like devouring fire, and his breath like a rising flood reaching the neck, to scatter the heathen with withering storm, and a bridle to put in the jaw of the pagan. Then sing as you do on a festival night, and be glad in your hearts as you dance to the pipe, to ascend the Lord's mountain, to Israel's rock, where the terrible voice of the Lord will resound, and his arm will be seen to strike down in fierce rage, bright flame with devouring fire, floods, hailstones, and storm. The Lord's voice shall strike Ashur as though with a staff, and wherever that punishing rod is applied, which the Lord lays upon him with strokes, it will fight with the clashing of warrior bands. For the old spreading slough for its king was prepared, with a broad, wide pile of fire and plenty of wood, and as a river of sulphur, the Lord's breath in flames. The end of chapters 23 through 30.